Hi everyone and welcome to Unfiltered. I'm Rob Duvall, your host tonight. Tonight we're talking about healthcare alternatives and alternative medicine. So thank you very much ladies for being here. We have with us tonight Dr. Reema Thapar, is a graduate of the Windsor University School of Medicine and School of Etheric Hearing, is that it?
Healing.
Oh yeah, healing, okay. And she's been recognized worldwide actually as a leader in healthcare at the International Association of Healthcare Professionals. So thank you very much for being here, that's wonderful. And also, she is the passionate visionary behind the Better Together movement, an award-winning social health movement to help create the legacy change of our healthcare system. Her success is showcased on Cityline, Breakfast TV, and many other national shows. Please welcome Dr. Margaret Wallis Duffy. Thank you very much.
And let me correct you, I am not a doctor, I'm a therapist.
That's
so
okay.
I just want to make sure.
Not a problem, not a problem. So thanks very much, ladies, for being here. This is a situation we were talking about just off air a little while ago that seems to be getting some traction lately, and it's really due to the way the government's handling, again, healthcare. But this isn't new, and I think that's the part that drives me crazy, being through so many different governments, is they just seem to be moving options around. They're not actually fixing anything. And I think it's come to the point really where we start needing to look at alternative ways of doing this. Some of the things that I was mentioning before is a way of having checks and balances in making sure that people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, both on the professional side and on the user side of those services. But even little things like autism has become a real big issue, but there's only a certain amount of money to go around. Mm-hmm. So really, I think we have to look at the professionals on what those options are. So I guess I'll start with you, Margaret. What do you think is something that you're seeing in the industry that needs to be changed?
Oh my goodness, this is a half-hour show,
Half-hour show, that's right.
It's not a really horrible story, but we are at a very unique time, I think, in history. So, my background, I've owned an integrative health clinic for 27 years. Now, when we talk about integrative medicine, bringing complementary medicine and conventional medicine together, 27 years ago, that was not in the consciousness of people. Right. I mean, we really have a healthcare system where, does OHIP cover it, is the first question that everybody asks. It's a sick care system. Wait till something's broken. Let's try to patch it back together again. But myself, personally, going through my own health history, we all have a health story. I'm sure many of your viewers. I don't look like my story. 10 surgeries, 4 bowel obstructions, a lung collapse, a fecal transplant, and menopause at 39, and I'm 52.
Right.
Why am I telling you that story? Because if it wasn't for conventional medicine, I wouldn't be standing here speaking to you. I have tremendous respect for the conventional medical community. But equally as true, if it wasn't for complementary medicine, and notice I didn't say alternative, I wouldn't be sitting here either. So where are the gaps? There are so many. I think our system, although we're grateful to be in Canada where we've got access to healthcare the way we do, we've really taught people to be passive participants in their health. Right. We've taught them to just wait till things are broken and then go to the doctor and say, fix me, doc. They're not actively involved in their well-being, preventatively or integratively. We have siloed medicine. We're not looking at the person as a whole. And therefore, we've got a lot of people living longer but not living well, getting sicker quicker, and we're really seeing the fallout. I can't tell you the difference, Rob, in my clinic in the last 10 years. Younger people, sicker people, and there are no barriers, mental, physical, emotional, health issues as a result of us not taking ownership in our health, and our system is falling apart as a result of it.
It is.
We need to look at empowering patients with evidence-informed information so they can make some different choices. So we're going to prevent illness as well, not just wait till it's broken.
But that comes to the point of our population is aging.
Yes.
And I have a ton of statistics here, but basically it's going to be double of what we're used to seeing now. And those people are going to put a real stress on the healthcare system. It's, can we do alternative medicine for them? Yes, we can, but not in the same way that you're going to talk to a young person in their 20s or 30s. Like, everybody has different stages in what they're capable of doing and making completely life changes. You have to look at it as a way of changing the way that you do things. But I think a lot of it is mental for these people. Like, honestly, we have these Bell Let's Talk days, so we talk about mental health, we talk about autism, we talk about regular medicine as we know it, traditional medicine. but there's a whole gap in there where it's just not being filled. I think it actually might be cheaper in the long run to allow people to have a little bit of their own destiny and say, you know, you want to stay at home, we should offer you a nurse, maybe like home nurse care, instead of like eating up a bed in a hospital. It's been proven time and time again that those are actually better for the patient, they're better for the family, and they're cheaper in the long run.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you've come across, but you know, that's the way I'm seeing it.
There is, we are providing home care, definitely, but I think it's more for the people who are going through really acute, serious injuries or cancers on the rise, 1 and 2 in Canada, right? And I've noticed, especially with my mom's care, majority of it was at home. I can't speak for the other areas outside of that. I don't have experience. But I do think that there could be more funding where we bring in education, patients get informed about how their body works. I think it starts from the elementary schools and onwards for that change to happen. And then once that happens, I think half of it will go to the hospital, half would stay at home, right?
Well, and when you were talking about, you know, better fiscally, and also what about the quality of well-being?
Right.
There is lots of evidence and statistics and research to show one of the epidemics is loneliness in seniors. I just last year finished my professional designation as a consultant in aging after I lost my father 3 years ago, and here I was with all I own a clinic, I've got all kinds of knowledge, you know, myself as a healthcare professional, I've got connections. And my dad wanted to die at home.
Right.
And it was such a struggle to make that happen, and I knew how to navigate the system. I was determined. It sparked right there and then my decision to start this Better Together Health movement, where we really, really need to start having, and I commend you for these types of conversations, to engage people, because here's the reality. Yes, seniors need to be together. Loneliness is real. We know that prevention, although we don't like to put the money out initially, it saves in healthcare costs, but it also saves in the quality of well-being. I really, truly believe we're looking at a symptom care system right now.
We are.
And we're not looking at root cause of things. And therefore it's, you know, we take a pill to have the side effect, and I'm not bashing, we've got good friends that are pharmacists, and there's need for that.
Of course there is.
Your health, my health, I've had to lean on that side of our system. However, it can't be the first line of defense, and it's causing more problems. So what if we start to shift the way we think from early on in life, but also in businesses, right? In government. That's what this Better Together Health movement is about, to really start having real conversations about putting the patient at the center and their families, and empowering them with education, looking at different ways that they can approach their health, which right now is not happening.
No, and also I think that we're doing a disservice to ourselves by going after whatever the government of the day is, and it doesn't matter if right now it's Ford, it was Wynne, and it was the NDP even before them. If we go after them with guns a-blazing, we're not getting the job done. We're not fixing at the root cause, and really it starts with us. I mean, I'm just one person, but I know my wife and I, we're actually trying to make sure that we get a hospice in town. And we talked about that before, because there's a shortage of hospices.
Yes.
I've helped the hospital raise money, because a lot of people think we're getting a new hospital, it's going to have all this great equipment. They don't realize that none of the equipment goes in. The government doesn't pay for that.
That's right.
They just pay for the building and the doctors that go in it. Other than that, they don't pay for anything else. So instead of everybody arguing about it, we should figure out probably a better way to do it, because there's just a fixed amount of cash. And that's what I've learned over time. It's like, here's the amount. I actually have one of the statistics on who's paying for these services, and I think our technician in the room here can throw that up, and I've just thrown it up actually on the screen. So looking at it from the year 2000 up to 2016, it's relatively been stagnant in the amount of breakdown between public and private health money. It hasn't really moved, and just recently it moved slightly. It went from 70% to 69%, and it's gone up to 31% on the private side, which is usually where people lose their minds. Usually people get very scared about having private health care. They want to make it a public system, and I don't disagree with them on that. I'm part of that public system. The good part about Canada, because I've traveled the world in my business, and I worked in the States for 13 years, is that much like the Second Amendment in the Constitution in the US, it's ingrained in their psyche, in their social fabric. Here, healthcare is ingrained in our social fabric. So I really don't think it's a big issue. I think people understand that we need to protect this, but how do you do it? Because these squares are still squares. There's only this amount. And we have an aging population. We need to look after them more. We have more people with mental health issues.
Yes.
I truly believe it's because of the amount of bombarding we're getting constantly of media or social media. We don't have a brain break anymore. I see it in my business. It's the first time where actually companies are looking at, as in my business in IT, they actually come in and have therapy sessions on how to relax.
Yes.
It's actually part of their office
That's what we
relaxation.
do.
I
That's
know.
what we do.
And I support that because people are getting way too stressed out. And I'm not talking the young people. That's a whole other issue for subjects one day. I'm talking about the people that are in that 40 to 60 year range are getting more stressed out than they used to be before.
Right.
So